I've got with me this evening now also Gavin Macpherson, team manager, took over the role at the start of this season, and I'm going to have a quick word with him about the renaissance which the club is experiencing this season. Gavin, a lot changed last summer. Previous manager left, a lot of players left, and in essence, you had to build from ground up. You've had an amazing cup run. You've been seen throughout the UK on television, on Match of the Day and things like that, and now you're actually pushing for promotion. For people who don't know the club that well, who are going out live at the moment on the internet, perhaps you could just summarise briefly what happened to bring around this renaissance this season.
Well, obviously, as you say, Jim resigned. We've been there, I think, 15 odd seasons, as his assistant manager. It was a bit of a shock at the time. Didn't expect it, although it had been talked about during the season that if we did get sent to the Southern League, then travelling would be difficult for Jim. But did I believe it? Not really. A couple of things happened. That was a big upheaval for us. That Jim had gone. It was a change in what we'd known for quite a few years. Also, there were severe budgetary restraints put on myself when I eventually took over the job, which was fine. It's not a moan. It's just how it is. And as you rightly say, a lot of players left, coupled with the extra travelling from the Southern League. And obviously budget requirements dictated that players were going to go elsewhere, and Mersthams and Kingstonians, etc., more localised football. So yeah, we had to start again, pretty much from scratch. I think we kept 3 players, but we looked pretty much what we had within the club as much as what we could bring in from outside, because as you've seen tonight, and it's been following on for several seasons, and I know I haven't got to tell you about it, that we've had a very successful youth coming through the under-23s, extremely successful over about the last 5 or 6 years, and we all remember the team that went up to Wolves and beat Burnley, etc. When you look at my team at the moment, there are 3 or 4 of those from that team in the first team playing regular now. So it's very important for me, not only because of the budget restraints, but the fact that for me it was time. We looked at it, we said we've got great players within, we need to give these players a chance. You never quite know how it will go, and it was mine and John's view that if we signed well enough around them, that we could, it was put on me that we need to stay up. That was what it was. Yeah, you've mentioned the promotion word. We're trying to keep that very quiet, to be honest with you. But I acknowledge we're in a very strong position in the league, certainly for a playoff place. Remains to be seen of where we go in relation to winning it. At the moment, we're in with a shout. Lot of football still to play. So again, just very important. And those lads have come through. They've gone beyond all expectation. They've excelled. First round of the FA Cup, still in the Surrey Senior Cup, looking, playing Kingstonian next week, and as you say, in a very healthy league position. It's probably beyond what I could have imagined. I knew they had it in them. I knew I had a talented group. The acclimatisation was going to be the only question mark for me, and they've done it magnificently.
Gavin, if you take a step back and actually look at maybe one thing off the pitch and one thing on the pitch that you've changed this season, which have been major factors in this, shall we say, upsurge in the club, what would you say they were?
If you look at it from a sort of tactical point of view, we've done a lot of strength and conditioning work, something that we haven't employed before. We've employed a coach to come and do that for us, because it's out of my remit and it's out of John's remit. We're not strength and conditioning coaches. When you look at the lads who've come up through that under-23 system and you look at that league, effectively, it is sort of almost an extension of a youth league in that under-23s. They're not necessarily playing sort of the more physical side of the game that we see week in, week out in the Southern League. So, a big factor for us has been employing a strength and conditioning coach to give them that ground, to give them that physicality in order to go in tandem with their talent. So that's been a huge thing. And off the pitch, in relation to what we've done there, we've embraced, as I say, the system that we've got in place, the marvellous job that Donovan's done, Paul Burnell and Neil Barrett, effectively bringing those players through. And as I say, we've galvanised that, we've brought it through, we've coupled that with coaching, with strength and conditioning, and it's all sort of paying dividends for us at the moment.
I think the other interesting thing also is that when you have had the opportunity to actually go into the market and bring players in, there's been some canny activity. I mean, above all else, the acquisition of Jack Macpherson.
Yeah, I mean, you know, in the summer we looked at it and we felt at that stage we didn't necessarily have we'd gone and lost. I mean, Johnny Wright did come back for a time, but we'd lost a lot of players, and my philosophy was that if we could have been criticised for anything over the years, we didn't score enough goals. We were normally mean defensively, but actually goal scoring wise, we weren't. So it was important for me to go and get a couple of forwards. Obviously, we dipped into a league below with Jack and 2 leagues below with Max. Both had scored a lot of goals. Again, some looked at it as a chance. Some looked at it, would they be able to cut the level? I think Jack has actually played the level before, but I don't think Max has. And they've both been magnificent, absolutely magnificent. But more importantly with them, they came in, it's a cliche, they bought into what we were doing, but also they've worked so hard to achieve where they are, especially Max Blackmore. You know, he's worked so hard because he was coming up 2 divisions, and it's taken some work, and you know, they're attracting interest, really.
Gavin, thanks so much for your time this evening. I'll let you get back to the celebrations. Hopefully we'll be covering you guys in the playoffs. I shouldn't have said it, but good luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks, brother. Cheers. Thank you.